So what are the factors influencing the temperature here? You know that latitude is a factor which influences the temperature. At equator, highest temperature is recorded because there the sun rays fall vertically. Where is the equator? It is the middle line which is shown here. This is equator. Moving from equator to either north or to the south, there the insolation decreases due to the inclination, slant falling of a sun rays. So it poles, the temperature recorded is lower than the equator. So latitudes is a factor deciding the temperature at a different place. Okay. Next, what is we see here? What is continental and maritime of climate? What is maritime of climate here? Maritime of climate in the sense the regions which are near to the water bodies, a country, maybe a state, a region which is very close to the large water body experience maritime of climate, and the regions which are far from the water body experiences the continental climate. We have discussed that the land water relationship in influencing the temperature of a place. Land absorbs very fast and releases very fast, whereas water bodies absorb very slowly and releases very slowly. So the places which are near to the water body experiences very low temperatures due to the sea breezes blowing from water bodies. So the place which is near to water body experience low temperature. So such a climate what we call maritime climate. What is a maritime? What is mean by mari? Mari means ocean. As the ocean and water experiences, that means ocean and water influence, ocean water influences the temperature on the land part near to it. So there the temperature is low, that is maritime of climate. And some places are far from the oceans, so that the ocean effect is not on the places which are far from the water bodies. As they are far from the ocean, they experience a high temperature, and so that what we call continental climate. Continent in the sense it is the land part. So here the places which are far from the oceans are influenced by the temperature recorded on the land part, which is called continent. So that it is called a continental climate. So we find two types of climates. One is maritime of climate, another is continental climate. So at a continental climate, the temperature is different in all the seasons. In summer, the temperatures recorded are high on the places which are far from the oceans. In winter, we find the low temperatures at the continental climate, whereas the places which are near to the oceans will experience equal temperatures throughout the year in all the seasons. It means in a winter, in summer, and in the rainy, we see more or less equal temperatures are recorded. We do not find very high differences in the temperatures recorded on every month and every season throughout the year. That is maritime of climate. So we do not find extreme differences in low temperature and high temperature in maritime of climate. Whereas in continental climate, we find extreme differences. At the peak of the summer, it is May, we find some of the people going to Ooty and Shimla in order to avoid the heat in their places. So many people from plain areas, they move to the hilly areas. Ooty is a hilly area. Shimla also an hilly area. So why does the people go to Ooty, Shimla in summer? Because to avoid hotness in summer. On the hill stations, that is at Ooty and Shimla, there the temperatures are low. Even in the summer months, we find very low temperatures recorded on the hilly areas. The highest parts on the mountains records lowest temperatures. That means moving to the higher area from the earth's surface, the temperature decreases. It means that the temperature decreases with the elevation. Elevation in the sense height. Now look at this. It is the surface of the earth. Surface of the earth. And moving from the surface of the earth into atmosphere. Okay. There the temperature decreases. Understand? This is lower layer. What I have drawn here, lower layer of the atmosphere. And the next is higher layer. Okay. We have discussed that atmosphere is composed of several layers. So at lower layers, highest temperature is recorded here. Highest temperature. Okay. I am keeping H and T. It means highest temperature recorded at lower layers, and at higher layers in atmosphere, lower temperature is recorded. So what is happening to the temperature moving from the earth's surface to the higher places? That is, the temperature is decreasing, okay, with the elevation. This is the reason for lower temperatures recorded on the hilly areas. Where? On the hilly areas. Now look at this slide. What do you see? It is a hilly area, right? Now what is the temperature recorded on the top of the hilly area? It is 10 degrees, 10.5 degrees Celsius. That is at the height of 3000 meters. 3000 meters. And at 2000 meters height, it is 17 degrees Celsius. And at 1000 meters height, it is 23.5 degrees Celsius. Now you say that where is highest temperature recorded, that is near to the earth's surface. Instead, near to the earth's surface, highest temperature is recorded. Okay, or 0 meters. Understand, that means here 30 degrees Celsius is there. That means completely at the earth's surface it is 30. Moving from the earth's surface to the hilly top of the hilly area, gradually temperature decreasing from 30 degrees Celsius to 23.5 degrees Celsius at 1000 meters and 17 degrees Celsius at 2000 meters height, and further 10 degrees 10.5 degrees Celsius at 3000 meters. So what is happening to the temperature moving to the higher altitude? Temperature decreases. So temperature decreases moving to the higher places, so that people likes to go to the top of the hilly areas in a summer season. That is the reason in summer people move to the water Ooty and what to call as Shimla. Okay, because there the temperature recorded is lower than the bottom of the hilly areas. Understand? So here this what we call normal lapse rate. Temperature on the top of the mountain is low compared to its foot. So as we go to the higher places, temperature decreases, and that what we call normal lapse rate. We call it normal lapse rate. Then how much temperature decreases? There 6.4 degrees centigrade temperature decreases per 1000 meters height. For every 1000 meters height, there will be 6.4 degrees centigrade temperature decreasement, and this is called a normal lapse rate. What we call it is normal lapse rate. Okay, in some places we find instead of decreasing the temperature, temperature increases with its height also. That we'll see later. So here if you observe the temperature of Delhi and Shimla, Delhi is at an height of 200 meters from the sea level. How much? 200 meters from the sea level. It means it is at 200 meters height. Which one? Delhi. Okay. And Shimla is at an height, that is at an elevation of 2200 meters from the sea level. So we have discussed just now, for every 1000 meters the temperature what to call decreases by 6.4 degrees Celsius. So where do we find low temperature? Whether it is at Delhi or Shimla. Yes, it is at Shimla, because Shimla is at a greater height, that is 2200 meters height. Understand? So temperature decreases moving to the higher places, that is called normal lapse rate. What we call normal lapse rate. Sometimes, that is in the winter season, you will find low temperatures near the surface of the earth. You know, the cooler temperatures near the ground level in winter is due to the less amount of insolation. In a winter season, we find shorter days and longer nights. The shorter days are not enough to give sufficient insolation. Due to the shorter days, sufficient insolation is not recorded. So the temperatures at the earth's surface are lower in winter. So the cool temperatures we find in winter at the ground level, and in the night time, because in the winter it is the what longer nights. So due to the longer nights, the radiation will be high. So insolation radiates too much in the night, so that at the surface of the earth, that means at the lower layers of the earth's surface, temperature is less, and moving to the higher places, temperature is high. This is in winter, and that what we call inversion, where temperature at lower layers of the earth's surface, okay, that means lower layers of the atmosphere records high, and then the higher layers in winter are called inversion of the temperature. So we find inversion of the temperature in winter season, and normal lapse rate in the rest of the time, okay, where temperature gradually decreases moving to higher altitude, that is called normal lapse rate. Instead of decreasing in temperature, if it increases with the height, that what we call inversion. Okay, now look at this slide. What do you find here? This is a slide showing three different belts. How many belts are shown here? Three different belts. One is tropic, which is shown here. This is the tropical region. It is very hot, as it is near to equator, where insolation is received high, and at either sides of the equator we find a temperate zone, where the temperature recorded is somewhat low, that those are warmer. And moving further north and south, it is very cold, those are called cold regions. So we find tropics near the equator and far from the equator, that is at the tropic of Cancer and tropic of Capricorn, it is a temperate zone where it is warm. And further above the tropic of Capricorn, that is Arctic Circle and Antarctic Circle, we find the temperatures are very very low, so that those are cold regions. So throughout the earth we find generally three belts. One is a tropical belt, second is a temperate belt, and third is a polar belt or polar zone. So three belts we find. Okay, so the equatorial regions are hotter throughout the year, and they do not have winter. Do you know Indonesia? Indonesia is near the what equator, so it records always a high temperature. It is hot, there is no winter. And moving from equator to the north or south, understand, north or south, we find that they have summer season and winter season. So where do we find summer and winter season? In tropical or temperate or cold regions. We find summer and winter seasons in temperate zone. Okay, those are far from the equator. and the places near the equator, they get more heated due to the vertical fall of the sun rays. And the places far from the equator experience low temperatures throughout the year, so that the polar regions are very cold instead. So due to this, that is what you call the nature of the earth's surface and the shape of the earth's surface, the temperatures are different at different places instead. Now look at this slide. What do you see here? Here we find the temperature of the three places. One is Vladivostok. This is in Russia. Second is Shanghai. It is in China. And third is Singapore. So what is the average temperature throughout the year at Vladivostok? 3.9 degrees Celsius. Shanghai 15.3 degrees Celsius. Singapore 27.8 degrees Celsius. So why does the temperature at Singapore is 27.8 degrees Celsius? Because Singapore is at equatorial zone. It is near to equator. And Shanghai is somewhat far from the equator. And Vladivostok is further, it is moving to the north, so that there the temperature is low. So it is what the temperature is different at different places instead. So at the equator the temperature is high. Okay, temperature is high. Now let me show you that, this graph. Look at here. How is this the green color shows the temperature, average temperature of the Singapore. Always it is near to 30. And Shanghai temperature, it is varying. That means we find some variation in low temperature and high temperature. Okay. See, what is the low temperature? What is the lowest average lowest temperature at Shanghai? It is 7 degrees Celsius as per the graph. Look at here. This, and maximum temperature is 30 here recorded in this place. So we find extreme differences at Shanghai, whereas at Singapore always throughout the year it is 30 degrees centigrade temperature, okay, which is near to the equator. And coming to the Vladivostok, which is shown with blue color, this one, what do you see? The temperatures are very less. Here it is minus 10 degrees centigrade in the month of January, and the highest temperature is 15 degrees Celsius. Okay, so there is low temperature at Vladivostok, which is further near to the north. Where it is? It is near to the north instead. This is the water, how the temperature is recorded at different places. Okay.